Welcome to the Dog Trainers Podcast, a podcast created by dog trainers, for dog trainers, or anyone who's ever fallen in love with man's best friend.
So guys, I want to switch gears a little bit if I can. I just have a couple quick questions for you, Tommy, and this was also something that we talked about when we had first spoke. You were talking about people asking you which dog training school they should attend, and this is kind of a branch off of the whole, like, do what feels right for you, because there's so many types of schools of dog trainers out there. And I also wanted to touch a little bit about the fact that you guys are actually working with a lot of ABC students, which is awesome because they're not even necessarily huge fans of like corrective methods, but you've gotten so many so many students wanting to go request that they were like, all right, well, let's do it, and I think that's great. So would you mind riffing on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we yeah, it's basically what happened is ABC had reached out and they said, hey, we've gotten a lot of requests to, for you to be a mentor. And I didn't really know anything about the ABC. And so I said, yeah, I mean, anything to help, let me know what you need from me. And then they just did like an interview with me and that was it. And it wasn't until you guys told me when we talked that usually doesn't happen for balanced dog trainers. Right. And I had no idea. But yeah, we get a lot of ABC students in from all over, and we're always happy, and they spend a lot of time with my staff more than anything, to be honest. But it is always good to help, and work with, and a lot of them are people older, like that are retired and they just want to work with dogs. So it's always nice to try to roll them into the job.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of ex-military people that use the GI Bill to go through school for dog training, and then they I've seen a lot of that too.
Yeah. So it's been cool. That's awesome.
That's
my 2 cents on that. Yeah, it's been cool.
I love that.
But yeah, when it comes to, there's so many different schools in dog training. I liked your response to where, I think exactly what you said was like, somebody will ask me, hey, is this a good school? And you're like, I don't know, is it? Like, it depends on what you want to do, And I'm like, yeah, I can appreciate that because it's a real answer. It's not some bullshit like, yeah, go for it, put your head in there. And, I think that's valuable to keep in mind. There's so many different facets to the dog training world. And that kind of will tie us into the whole overall art and what we've been trying to do, Brent and I, as far as how do you go about this stuff moving forward? How do you continue to push the dog training game moving forward? And, I want to let Brent dive into kind of the art of dog training, but I just want to ask you one last question that I've been asking everybody, Tyler and Michael Ellis, and I intend to ask everyone else. The term balanced dog training has become so convoluted almost because a lot of people are not necessarily balanced. They use food but hardly, or for one reason or another, they use all the different methods, but they're not necessarily consistent with everything. Do you think that the term balanced is kind of near the end of its life? Should we look to figure another word out?
Like I said before, I never dove in, I never dove into a lot of the politics in dog training, and I still don't. I try to just do my part of I'm gonna put out content and hopefully people like it and whatever. So for me, I never, I don't want to say never, but I do say balanced dog training sometime, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
It really doesn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Balanced dog training doesn't mean anything to me. I think people use it. I think somebody said it to me one time, balanced dog training. I'm like, oh my, yeah, I guess. Whatever, cool, Yeah. For me, it just it doesn't mean anything to me. So it's not significant in my life. I just say but I also have, kind of an advantage because people get to know me for years before they sign up with me or before they come in with a dog for the most part. So I don't have to sell anything. They just go, do your thing, man. Okay, cool. So I don't have to say, back in the day they'd say, what tools, what methods do you use? And we have a receptionist that answers all the phones and stuff, but they may have to answer that question sometimes. But for me, I never get asked, what do you do? What type of trainer are you? So for me, it's not in my vocabulary. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think I don't know, I guess it represents what we do as trainers, but I don't like locking things in. I don't like locking things in. I think it's you're limiting yourself when you say I'm a balanced dog trainer. You fall under a category. As soon as
you're putting yourself in
a box, which everything that I do with even my hair, my dog training, anything, I don't want to put myself in a box. It suffocates me. Don't don't do that to me creatively. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's cool because
Yeah. So that.
sorry, Tyler
sorry,
Muto
go
and
ahead.
Michael Ellis said the exact same thing, which is awesome. It's great to know that everybody's like on the same kind of page. That's cool, man. So many of these guys, I really want to build that network. So many of these guys, and I know Jeff and Sean feel the same way because I've talked to them a lot. More Sean, but that we're so alike sometimes. It's like we should all just go and like get. Yeah, like
So why
a
don't
big
we
ass
have
dinner
a
or something
bar
one
where we
time.
can
That'd be
all just
awesome.
go to?
Well, I think the ISEP conferences are like that. I've never been to one. I'm a member. Tyler and I used to rap a lot. We used to connect a lot. We're both in New York. So Tyler and I, we're Gucci. We communicate a lot, especially in the beginning. But yeah, and to be honest, like just while we're on this note, I'm actually in the process right now of trying to create something like that.
Okay.
As a business, we are expanding. We've needed a new facility for about 2.5 years. So we are on the search for like the perfect spot. And once we do, it's something that I'm really passionate about to say and invite across the country, across the world, to anybody that wants to come hang out for like 4 or 5 days on like the ranch or the farm or the facility that we end up buying. And I want to just hang out and kick it, coffee in the morning, work some dogs, just clients' dogs. I don't want a lot of, I really want like everybody. I want to create an open invite to everybody in the industry that says, hey, I want all of you guys to come, even if you don't know who I am or anything. Like, I want to hang out. I want to talk. I want to be resourceful. I want to communicate because, like you said, it's very lonely sometimes because you're isolated, because you feel vulnerable because of some of the hate that you get, from and to be honest with you, like for me, I've created this system, and I have a system that I learned from David Goggins on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I love David Goggins. Yeah.
Nice.
But I now have a system to cope and deal with these types of situations, and I'd be happy to share it with you guys. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that I agree with everything that you guys are saying. I know we're all really busy, but I think it would be fantastic if we can all get together. It doesn't have to, I'm just saying that I'm trying to get a piece of property where there's no limits to how many people and what we can do.
I'm down.
And I'd love to be able to like say, hey,
the Canine Trainer Club.
Just like and the thing is like a lot of big industries have that like professional conference.
Yeah, like mixers, conferences. I think just the concept would be cool of like, we don't know, like we could go, like you could
retreat. It's a retreat.
Book out. Yeah, go on a retreat and you don't know who's going to be there, and you'll be like, "Oh, it's so and so." Hey, and we all train dogs together and we all learn. It's like going to a monastery and then leaving and then go like a pilgrimage and then coming back.
And I think the ISEP is like, and having my relationship with my I've known Tyler since
he's president, right?
He's president, and so like, I'd be silly not to like say that that's pretty much what the ISEP is.
Right.
But it's a little bit more. It's a little too formal for me. There's not a lot of dogs there. I'd really like to like get people like on a ranch and do it, and I'm currently working on that.
And I think what that adds, it adds to this is because it's like, we can talk theory, we can talk all this stuff. It's like let's show each other. It's like show and tell. It's like, let me show you what I just found out, and this and that. We could share ideas.
Well, I think it's cool too because it's like show and tell meets show me, don't tell me. And it's like you put your stuff on display, and it's like, listen, this is what I can do. Here you go. For anybody online that may think, XYZ, here you go. Here's my badass trained dog. Here's my successful kennel. Here's my grind. Here's my story. It works.
Yeah, and I had this envision because like I said, I've been looking at property extensively for a while. I'm like, I want the right one. It's really hard for me because I'm like, oh, that one's an hour away. It's perfect, but I can't do it because it's an hour away. But anyway, like for me, I've just like had this vision because I worked at a wolf sanctuary for about 5 summers, and it was like the most magical place ever. It was self-sustained. There was a lot of farming. There was a lot of agricultural things going on, and then the wolves were just on top of it, which was beautiful. It was in the middle of Colorado. Couldn't be further away from society. It was awesome. But that's always inspired me, and so I kind of want to create something that's a little off the grid, that's out there, and I can just picture 25 dog trainers sitting around a campfire talking about things, and then during the day working 10 different dogs on different things, and say, how would you do this? What do you think about this? What's your experience with this? And really just soaking all that in. But I think you guys already have this idea going, and it's great. But I think, just like you said, like, it's for young dog trainers, and that's why I'm like, it's really tough, because when they put content out, it's scary. I do actually, to touch on what you're saying about business, I do a lot of online consulting. Like, I have an online program to train. I actually do quite a bit of dog trainers that we talk about business and stuff, which is great. But I think one of the things that a lot of the dog trainers that I talk to struggle with, and it doesn't matter if they're new or they've been in the business for 20 years, is creating content. And they're like, well, I'm worried about, I'm like, yeah, that's part of it. You're going to put it out. Somebody's going to give you shit. Somebody's going to give you shit.
It's almost a badge of honor at this point.
Yeah. You just, there's some people who can take it, and there's others who just aren't set up for it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I think, so that pilgrimage, if you go, like, people getting together is also like uplifting, I think, to just say, like,
it's like Woodstock for dog trainers.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, like, I don't know to what capacity I would necessarily be useful, but I would love to help make that happen. We'll have to stay in touch and see what we can do.
Definitely.
I would love that.